5 is in the books already. Such a good weekend of football. Like, these matchups they didn't necessarily excite me, but I think we got to take away a lot of things. Obviously, we have quite a few more games coming up to round out the week due to testing differences and changes and all the craziness that 2020 is bringing us. But a big shout out to who I hope ends up being comeback player of the year, Alex Smith, returning to the field. I think that was so cool for everybody to see. I don't know, like, if anybody watched that clip and had a dry eye. Nice moment. Let's jump into the rest. We are going to start things off with the upset in Arrowhead. The Raiders took on the Chiefs and won. They beat the unbeatable looking team. How does that happen? Lots of exciting things. So I talked about in my preview how I was curious if John Gruden and Mike Mayock had started to really build an offense that could go toe-to-toe with the Chiefs, right? Like, you kind of came up with the idea at this point that I don't know how you stop that many weapons, so build an offense that can face them. And I think they did just that and kind of tamed the beast that is the Chiefs a little bit. Everything from Henry Ruggs being back looked great out there. Shout out, though, to Derek Carr for getting the ball to him. He's always getting on the media about how they don't give him enough credit, and I think that credit where it's due in this game. He played a really strong game. The pieces around him, though, looked really great as well. When you think about Darren Waller, obviously being a great piece on that offense, Josh Jacobs is epic. Hunter Renfrow was always super clutch. Devonta Booker even came in on some of those runs in place of Josh Jacobs and stole a couple yards. He looked really, really good out there. This team overall it looked so sound, and I'm so used to the big names on the other side that I wasn't giving these guys, I don't think, as much credit, but you got to respect them now, right? They went out there and got that win and forced us to pay attention. I think defensive coordinator Paul Gunther coached a really great game this week. I'm not sure if he stole maybe a couple things from that Belichick blueprint last week. I know Chiefs fans are going to be upset about a couple missed DPI calls perhaps there, but a lot of really exciting pieces on that Raiders team. I love Jonathan Abram. I think he just plays the lights out. I'm excited, though, for when he starts to settle down and lets the game kind of come to him a little bit more, when he finds that sweet spot between his high energy aggressive play and knowing the game a little bit better, so he just completely can shut teams down. And Trayvon Mullen, another bright spot on that team. As far as the Chiefs, I think Patrick Mahomes being forced out of the pocket so much was really disruptive to him. Obviously, he can get out of the pocket, move the ball with his legs, he can create plays, but he was out of the pocket a lot, and I think that definitely kind of disrupted his normal play style, and that defense didn't play as well as I know that they can. But it was a good win for the Raiders. Credit to them. Quick little bit here. While the Raiders were in Kansas City, I also had my eye on the Eagles at Steelers game. The Steelers did take this one. I thought that would happen, but the Eagles were in it for a minute, and Travis Fulgham, every time I looked up, it was one wide receiver on each team. Travis Fulgham for the Eagles. What? I just love this story of how a guy in Philly could just walk off the street, walk onto a football field, and make a name for himself in the NFL. I hope that he keeps this start play going. Really, really bright spot for that Eagles team, and really good for him. I'm really excited for him. And then Chase Claypool on the Steelers. Both of these guys were just making plays. Every time I looked up, pretty much the ball was in their hands. Chase Claypool with 4 touchdowns. They have got a wide receiver 1. I think Juju plays a solid wide receiver 2, and I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that's a great 1-2 punch there in Pittsburgh. They've got a good thing going. I got to give you guys respect, Steelers fans. I did not respect you before this season started, and I didn't think Ben had it in him to keep this thing going, but clearly he does, and things look good. The game that nobody is going to want to talk about for quite some time, especially in Dallas, the Giants at the Cowboys. I'm going to start with the Giants. Just a couple quick points there. Devonta Freeman was clearly a great pickup for that team. He had the run game going. Also, the Cowboys' run defense is still not where it needs to be, so that's a good point to make here too. And then Darius Slayton and Golden Tate have proven to be great targets for a young quarterback in Daniel Jones. I think they played better than I expected them to. Definitely better than I expected them to. A couple mistakes that pissed off Joe Judge, but I think they've got a future for sure. They played better than I expected them to. On to the Cowboys side of things. The Dak injury is so disappointing because of the fact that he is not paid. Like, that's kind of really what makes me mad here. I am all for these players getting what they deserve, and so that's tough. I think we've kind of so pushed the narrative of Dak being durable that he's still human, you know, and then you end up in situations like this. So that's it. I'm going to get off my soapbox. That was really, really tough to see, though, and I'm not sure if that was a design run. It looked like it might be. I'm not an offensive coordinator, so I don't know. And so that sucks, too, because I feel like so many people in Dallas have been calling for, like, give me some more design runs. Let's really keep mixing up this offense, and that's the result. There's nothing you can do about it, but it is tragic nonetheless. As far as other great things happening on that offense and on the team overall, Jalen Smith played a really great game. The run defense still is not up to where it needs to be. And Noah Brown and Cedric Wilson were in for an entire drive where CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper were on the sidelines. I'm not sure what the reason is for that. If it's like to up their draft stock, I'm very curious. If somebody knows, please let me know. If they're trying to up their draft stock, if they're trying to get them more reps for maybe some fun packages later in the season, like they're just kind of like warming things up. No clue, but I'd like to know because it was interesting and they were able to find success. Obviously, this Giants team is a team that isn't so great that you can kind of test some things out against. I don't know. I have no idea what the logic was there, but obviously, biggest takeaway from this game is just praying and thinking of Dak Prescott. That's a tough thing to see in this sport. And for Sunday Night Football, we had the Vikings taking on the Seahawks in a closer than I expected game. Let's start with the Vikings side of things. I think this defense is starting to regain their identity and find their flow. I talked about in the preseason how I thought some teams would kind of trick us through the first few weeks and look good. I'm looking at you, Arizona Cardinals. And then I thought some teams would need to kind of find their flow, especially having no preseason, a weird off season, the whole nine. I think that this Vikings team is one of those teams, even though their record still is not putting them in the category of a good team. I think they looked like a good team yesterday, very balanced across offense, defense, all phases. It looked pretty dang good. When I think about their run game, humming with Dalvin Cook in the first half, and then when he went out, Alexander Madison picked up where he left off, Mike Boone. They looked really good. Adam Thielen is still great, in case anybody was wondering. I wish I would have gotten to see this Justin Jefferson that everybody else is talking about. I feel like he didn't have his best game yesterday, which it happens. It's not a big deal, but I would have liked to see him kind of go off yesterday too. And every time I looked up, though, this defense was in the backfield or making play. It was just play after play after play. It was brilliant to watch. Honestly, I loved watching that Vikings defense back to their usual play, essentially. Then for the Seahawks, my biggest takeaways here, that defense is not going to win them a championship. I'm not sure if it's just Jamal Adams being out. Obviously, he's a big addition to that team, bigger than I think I realized before the season started, but now I am fully aware they need him on the field because that defense is not going to get it done. And that final drive, I'm so used to Brady and Rodgers' final drives that these new guys scare me. I don't know. They really, really scare me. I think there's a stat out there that they won the game and they didn't convert a single third down. It was just I'm just going to convert this fourth. And I'm sitting there holding my breath. It was crazy to watch, but Russ got it done. Another check in his MVP column. And I like that DK Metcalf is his go-to guy, even though he kind of tried to F up at the end and not catch the ball. He made up for it by making the game-winning catch, so we're okay with it. And of course, everybody's going to talk about the Vikings going for it on fourth down. You got to take chances sometimes. I'm not mad at them for it. That is all I've got for you guys on week 5, even though we still have so many games to be played in week 5. So I will recap them on Thursday before my preview. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you like and comment and subscribe. I'll talk to you guys so soon.